Yesterday, you said you will not be reviewing the AT&T-Time Warner deal now. Is this bespoke to Time Warner and AT&T, or is this your view of what lighter regulation is, less M&A oversight?
No, it's limited to these particular facts, and as I understand it, the parties have structured the transaction so that it won't come before us, and that's the reason why I said what I said yesterday.
So give us what market light actually therefore is. So would we be right? The market already is expecting it. Russell 3000 TV radio index is up. Are we going to see more M&A in 2017? Will you allow that to go through?
That's a decision, obviously, for the private sector to make. My job is a very humble and frankly boring one, which is simply to review the papers that are put before me, and take a look at the facts as presented, and make a decision based on the law and the precedents that are long established. And I can't opine in the abstract about any particular transaction.
It's interesting that Tom Wheeler, who actually just came and said hello to us just there, who is previously the chair of the FCC, says that the US marketplace is, you now say the US marketplace is extremely competitive. Tom Wheeler felt that it needed 4 players to be so. Could it still be extremely competitive with 3 providers of mobile?
I can't say in the abstract what the optimal market structure is. What I do know is that the current wireless marketplace in the United States is extremely competitive. Recently, for example, after the FCC stopped its investigation of free data offerings, every single one, all 4 of the national wireless carriers in the United States announced unlimited data plans. That's a good thing for consumers. So in the context of any transaction, our focus is always going to be what's in the public interest. And if it is in the public interest, then we would be more favorably inclined to approve a deal.
Could it be in the public interest for Sprint to team with T-Mobile US?
So points for trying, but unfortunately I can't opine in the absence of particular papers that present the facts before me.
You've already been looking to roll back the broadband privacy rules. Now this is where we see consumers not potentially having to opt in, as had previously been wanted for internet service providers when using their data. Does this mean potentially we will see an all-out rollout, a dissolution of net neutrality, of Title II protection?
Well, that decision simply meant putting a pause on one of the rules that was going to come into effect on March 2nd. More broadly speaking, I think there's a broad consensus about the need for a free and open internet. That's the internet we've had since the dawn of the internet age in the mid-1990s, and that's something I think consumers and companies alike have come to take for granted. The only question is, what regulatory framework can we adopt that both protects that core value and preserves a massive incentive to invest in infrastructure across the United States? And that's what we're in the context right now of deciding upon.
Overall, in terms of the digital divide, I know this is something, Mr. Pai, that you've been particularly focused on.
Yeah.
How are you going to incentivize private companies to invest more?
It's a hard issue because by definition, the parts of America, the parts of the world that are currently unserved are by harder to serve for a reason, and less population density, lower return on investment. So we at the FCC want to think about all the tools in the toolbox, both with respect to the federal subsidy programs that we oversee, also relaxing some of the regulations and giving more regulatory incentives to companies to take that risk. I'm also working actively with members of the Congress and the administration in terms of the infrastructure plan they're thinking about. We want to bring all of those tools to bear to help Americans get connected.